in one culture and you remember, oh, okay, well they were capable of this, so could they be used in like history of magical lore? But they also need to be connected with politics here and things like that. And so it's just just a tangled web.
Well, yeah, like just even all like releasing all of our glory concepts in 2020. Like, you know, we kind of had to go back to systems that we had previously written and been like, you know, we just need to make sure that these new abilities that we've introduced into the game, like this old stuff still makes sense in light of this, and that it's still like, so
things are still useful.
Yeah, things are still useful.
That there's no point in playing a blah if there's this out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's every concept should be fun.
So it looks like we're having a bit of some disconnection issues. I'm not sure how, unfortunately, if it's internet. So sorry guys if you missed some. I am recording now, so we'll have it later. But yeah, not much.
Sorry. Well.
Another thing I've been appreciating, the NPCs, the guild, they have been so fucking pumped about everything. And like they're coming up with ideas, they're setting up their own strategy planning sessions. They're awesome, every single one of them. I very much appreciate them.
There's so many who just jumped on, and that's so cool.
Yes.
It's going to be nice for consistency. Like kind of like the thought process behind having like the guild of NPCs, which are folks that commit to like a year of NPCing, is that, you know, you guys will be able to kind of have a consistent like NPC presence. Like if there is that one, you know, like the sheriff or whatever, like you can know what the sheriff is basically going to look like from one game to the next and who's playing them, you know. It'll just help with that kind of stuff. It'll help with having a firmer knowledge of our rule set. You know, and I also want to put out there that I have found the combat practices that have been run every week, actually, like alternating between the North and the South in Washington. Those have actually been pretty helpful. Especially for me, because it's giving me practice to like look back in our rules and answer questions and refresh my memory on like how this all works, and that yes, it still is fun to hold a buffer and to whack people, and like this is all actually quite fun, because speaking for myself, you know, after so much time off, like there's a little bit of anxiety in kind of getting back into those habits and those practices that have gone to rust. For me, so I super recommend them if for no other reason than just to like safely reconnect with people outdoors and whack each other a little bit. It's like it's fun. So.
Yeah. Sorry, I was double checking. People say hi. Yeah, I don't know internet issues and flagging. And
You want me to go check on our internet?
let me do that actually. We do have a question from well, I'll check with Wolf.
Okay.
We do have a question though from about sins, which is really important. From Alice. She wants to know, because she's a therapist, how she can she could do maybe sexy things and not be all the sins all the time. And we haven't been talking about this.
Like, do you want me to talk about the sex system or about
No.
like?
She wants to not die from sin. Oh, I'm sorry, they.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
They would like to not get all the sins all the time, and there's a way to avoid passion stuff. So basically, they want to do sex without leading into madness.
Oh, okay. So like the therapist would like to do the sex
As a therapy action.
Okay.
Yes.
And
It's very kind
Sex
of you.
therapy.
yes, that's very kind to do. Are we talking about like taking Wicked and stuff like that?
Potentially, or also we could talk about the pair bonding nature of Hessians and what constitute a partner for them.
Oh,
yeah,
that's true.
They have temporary relationships
That's
for a year and a day.
A year and a day, yeah. So yeah, because basically like the oh my god, what do we call it? The sex sin? Is it defilements?
Degradation.
Degradation. Thank you. So the degradation sin, like it's a level 1 sin to have sex out of an oath-bound partnership. So it's not like a major sin. It's a little sin.
It's like a fun sin.
Yeah, it's like a mini sin.
It's like trying to work at a party.
Yeah.
But sin is a treat.
So I think the easiest way to deal with it then would just take Wicked 1 and Degradation, and you're good.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to more have relationships, in that the Hesha, their marriage rights are just for a year and a day, so you can have a series of different marriages, and be totally cool because it's not divorce. It's you just decided not to re-up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Kiddo side's working just fine for them, so.
Okay.
Weird.
I mean, it's still like a year in game time is still like a lot of games.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's necessarily like the main route. And to be clear, like taking the wicked, it is a flaw. That is a level of sin that you can never atone for. So it just sticks there. But it also means you don't necessarily need to worry about, atoning or trying to figure out how you're going to get it off your sheet. You're just kind of acknowledging, like, my character does not see a problem with this. Like, I am super at peace with this sin. This is part of, like, my jam, and I'm wicked for it.
So just try not to do other sins.
Yeah, exactly. Because it still will count towards your depravity total. So yeah, just kind of.
In the grand scheme of things, it's like.
Peeps, we're gonna go ahead and hold for a sec because apparently we're super frozen.
Oh, weird.
Okay.
So sad.
So we're gonna keep recording, but
Yeah, you can totally move over there.
I'm gonna just
You don't
Discord.
like being
The-
aged
It
and
just-
smoked?
It just keeps hitting me directly.
It does,
in the face.
and that's always the way of things. Like a minor curse, I think.
Okay,
Now
can
it's
you
gonna
see
like
me
blow
up?
over towards you there.
And the
Oh,
way
we
you've
don't-
got
yeah.
your deck set up here, it creates a
Yeah.
wind tunnel.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank
But
you. But
yeah.
I didn't.
Problem.
Hey Megan,
Yes.
I think she moved a little bit this way. If we could turn.
Give me a second.
Oh, I'm just wondering when we.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
You guys can keep talking, but like for people who are potentially here,
That's okay. I'm just gonna.
Actually, I'm gonna go get some more wine.
we're gonna take a short
Oh,
break,
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
as we do a.
One break.
I am contemplating more wine, just like.
Well, I don't actually even know how late we're going. I figured we'd like talk for like 2 hours.
I can probably have a second glass then.
Yeah.
And then I should switch to water.
Can they hear us?
But yes, they still can hear us.
Were the questions mentioned in Slack the only ones we got sent in?
No, those were specifically we pulled them from Discord.
Yeah, like basically pulled them from a variety of sources. Actually, no one's seen the questions. So I'm just looking at the comments right now.
I would hear might be better too, because I kept on like looking back at you guys and it's like, can you see the sad on my face? Like, I think the font is more pretty.
Nicole, you'll probably want to get a little bit closer. Unfortunately, Virginia's the exact edge of the thing.
Am I blocking her?
Yeah.
If you moved closer to the fire?
Do you even want to be close to the fire?
That's the smoke goes
Oh,
The
that
smoke
way.
is now going towards
Oh
you.
no.
No!
You are cursed. It is
Well,
the way.
it has gone this way a couple times during the thing, so if it becomes a thing. I just don't want to block like images of your real face.
Okay, so now we are up on Discord too, so hopefully that helps people. So you can jump onto Discord and you can hear us and see us
Alright.
watch at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Hooray!
I will-
Did Facebook change their settings to make it so we gotta pay them? Is that what happened?
No, we're fine. We're still here. It's just we're having some weird internet problems.
Weird.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Do we know where we got cut off so that we can finish that discussion?
No.
Oh,
No?
Sorry.
Okay.
oh well.
Well,
What's the last thing we
I know, my lovelies. I'm so sorry. The internet gods were not kind to us. Can they hear me now?
They should be able to hear you on Discord. There's no one else there quite yet, though.
Oh, okay. Do they know that we've gone over to
I've
Discord?
just told them.
That's so sad.
Are we?
We had such good banter.
We did.
Well, we're being recorded still, so you guys.
Okay.
I'll post it up
I
later.
think Such
Right
good
now.
banter.
I assure you, our banter was.
Sunday morning of Beta 2, we will all gather, the entire staff, and sit in the tavern and banter.
I don't
Wow.
see anyone
The
else
banter.
here. Can
Agreed.
Virginia? Can other people see can people see the voice channels in Discord?
They should be able to.
Okay.
I can check the settings real quick.
Yeah, just because I don't see anybody. Oh, I can invite them. Let's invite them. Invite. Copy this link. Put this into your channel. First.
Yeah.
Score.
You are currently
boy keeps trying to get me on Discord, and I
wait.
do not enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't enjoy Discord either. I just
No.
like, I will also just do a Zoom. We can have all the
Can we
things,
do
everybody.
both at the same time?
Yeah, basically it's live on a bunch of them. OBS is only running on the on Facebook right now for the stream, but everything else is.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't know if I understood you. Are we doing 3?
Yes, we're gonna do
simultaneously?
3 at the same time.
Facebook,
Discord and Zoom. I do have the Discord. I do have to download it, and the mic
Oh.
eats.
Oh man, the triumvirate rises. I have destroyed her.
Which one?
Fantastic.
Facebook is horrible.
Facebook is Quora?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay. That's
Uh,
legit. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one's Zoom then? Is that?
That's gotta be Lazarov because Discord's definitely Tarantulas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
Discord is super trans. You're right. Yeah.
Nerds. I am so looking forward when we start writing their religious documents.
Oh man.
I know it's gonna feel like I'm hitting my head against the wall, but I'm looking forward to
We'll
it.
have
anyway.
one of our trademark big jam sessions about
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and it'll be great.
The sin cometh.
Yes.
What month were we planning on Triumvirati? Was that July?
Yeah, we gotta finish Vicatra first,
Yeah, we do.
and then we'll move on to our Triumvirati religious documents.
I'm
So,
making
Okay,
some
whoa, we got a Luke.
like-
So
Yay!
someone can hear us, and then we got Erica.
Just one.
Excellent. Okay, people are showing up. Excellent.
Yay!
Yay!
I just changed everyone's roles on Discord, so that might be why.
Okay.
oh, well, yay!
Fantastic.
You are now different people entirely.
All right, but you guys can at least hear us here, hopefully. It does see that I'm making noises, so yay!
And if for some reason like Facebook Live starts to cooperate again, like we're still doing that too.
Yep.
Hooray! All right then.
All good
All
things.
right.
Yeah.
All good things.
Yeah. Thanks, Megan.
Some way people will hear us and hopefully see us.
We hope. We can only hope.
I also might turn off OBS and just go straight to Facebook. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to stop the stream for a second, guys. You will be just fine. Stopping stream. But you can keep talking. They can all hear you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
talk about your life
Alright.
now.
You're giving instructions about stopping, and I.
Oh, I'm sorry.
no
I'm so
obedient
sorry.
person
The banter
that sometimes does a lot of work there.
Now say something. Now don't say something.
Something?
We're going to
Wrong.
Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong all the time.
Oh no.
Maybe I shouldn't have another drink.
I'll
You
make
should
it
have
work.
Yeah, I probably should.
More drinks.
Are you talking about your second and you haven't finished your first?
Well, I just like
Thinking ahead. Planning's
exactly.
very
I like to
important.
plan for these sorts of things, and I also like don't necessarily. I don't know if we got room to like actually whack each other with weapons.
Yeah.
I just
Especially
wanna
with
be,
that fire right in the middle.
exactly. I didn't want to be like tripping over my pants, like waving a sword. So.
Well, we can talk about some of the things that we're talking about, which is like,
Yeah, and I can stand up and demonstrate. But
Try a sip of this.
yeah, so we are chatting about things as I try to get this back up and running. Worry not, guys.
There's one bottle if you want some.
unless Jameson took it all.
What?
Did you take all the wine?
There's another bottle unopened.
Oh well, shit.
Yes.
Then everything's
The
fine.
other bottle's red. The second bottle's Pinot Noir.
I actually really like Pinot Noir.
There we go.
that's-
Your
that's
glare is
amazing.
terrifying.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's the nature of glare
What
on
have I
things.
done? Oh no.
Jonah just gave me a sip of the wine, and I was like, "That's delicious," and I want some. And then you like innocently came out with your tiny little glass. I was like, "That better not be the last of it."
Oh man.
There's just something about the repurposed mom glare.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Ah, that was it. The flashbacks.
Yeah, I've
got
had
it.
a lot of
Got it.
practice with that one over the years.
You can tell people who actually have children by the force of their mom glare.
Oh, good.
All right, we have a whole bunch of people listening, so
Yay.
that's working. I've got a new live Facebook up,
Well,
so
Thank
hopefully
you
this
for-
is working.
Yeah, thanks for rolling with us, and
Listening to us banter about nonsense.
yes, yes, exactly.
Our
Okay.
meetings are much more productive, I promise.
I know.
Sometimes.
So, yeah, sometimes.
So what was if someone could chat at me in general and tell me what was the last thing you guys remember before it all went to kaput? that will let us know where to start back over with our
'cause
conversation.
Some of our stuff was bullshit, and some of it you may have wanted to hear.
Some of it must go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Must exit.
I really like the color of your house too.
Thank you. Thank you. That was actually a recent paint job. It used to be like periwinkle.
Also a good color.
No, it's not a bad color, but I like this one better.
All right. The answer from General is I'm in the wrong Discord channel.
Yes.
They remember talking about we're answering Elis. So that's
Okay. All right. Okay.
How to sex without dying.
Sex without like destroying the character.
Degradation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Degradation. Sex. So basically what we were saying was that sex outside of an oath-bound partnership is the level 1 sin, and we were saying it's a fun little sin.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Most the level 1 sins are ones that we expect the majority of people will at least dabble in from time to time. People make mistakes.
You're not a coward.
Yeah.
Some people are naughty.
So we were saying that like a suggestion could be to take the wicked flaw, which is a flaw. I don't mean to ever imply that it's like a get out of jail free card. It is a flaw, but so that sin does count towards your total depravity limit. However, it basically means that your character is completely at peace with that sin. They don't think it's a big deal. They think it's a part of life, and that's super valid. It still counts towards that total depravity limit. So maybe if you do take wicked in that, just kind of be cognizant of what other sins you commit, because once you pass your threshold, that's when you start racking up insanities, essentially. But yeah, you can take that. We were talking about how in the Hessian culture, they have oath-bound partnerships that last for a year and a day. So presumably, if you really wanted to commit to that person, are we?
No, you're fine. Don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay. If you really want to commit to that person you're trying to like give a lot of therapy to, like a lot of sexual healing, you could in theory marry them for a year, and that's fine. That's part of your culture. Like, and then after that year and a day is over, you can kind of go on with your lives and take on a new patient. I think you probably intend to see more patients than that, though. And I would just say that may just be a hazard of the profession.
It'd probably be best to take wicked and be like,
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
worry about that.
Like it's part of the job, you know.
Yeah.
I
This
kind
is
of want to
some-
work therapeutic marriages into a vortex now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, some people kill a lot, and they might take wicked for that.
And
like
that's
it's,
okay.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, but it is.
Yeah.
But you know, it really is that you'll have some sin on you in the world,
Yeah.
and like that's something that just happens.
Yeah.
If you're someone who has 0 sin on you, you worked hard to be there.
Yes.
It is not expected that you'll go a sinless life in Gothic.
Exactly.
it
In any
is
Gothic.
so difficult.
Yeah. That is playing the game on hard mode. If you're trying to be a sinless creature, that is.
I know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you won't even really realize until you look back later and go, that was kind of wrathful, wasn't it? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figure like a lot of people are going to be tempted to steal. And where you're really going to get hit, if I can be blunt, is in your cultural sins. Some of the cultural sins are pretty rough, which we'll talk about later when we start going into our cultures. But like,
Highlanders are probably going to get hit a lot by weakness.
yeah, like there's some pretty strict. Some cultures
That
have
whole
very
taking sides
stringent.
thing.
Yes, for the
Oh.
Forgotten Ones and stuff. Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
thinking they'd never be downed.
Never be down is
Yeah.
rough.
That is
Yeah.
rough.
So and I mean I know this isn't necessarily like this is going beyond the question asked, but there are the 5 sins that are common to all the cultures, and then you've got those 2 that vary from culture to culture. So that may be something if you're looking into a character concept, you may want to look at the sins for the culture in question that you're looking at, just to be aware of how challenging this will be for you depending on your playstyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because some of them are not too difficult depending on the concept, but others, like especially with like the Demians and Staff Gothics, where they can't really interact with outsiders as easily, it could be really difficult.
it's such forbidden fruit for me. like to see for both the South Gothic and the Nemean, like to have it's a level 1 sin to be like unchaperoned with someone outside your culture, and like that just I'm just like oh,
That's gonna happen.
That's gonna happen. if I was playing a character.
Oh, let's yeah. I got him. So
Yeah. Moderating.
Chat about stuff.
We have good question. That was also that we also have Brendan moderating for us. So I want to give him a high five.
Oh.
Thank you, Brendan.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you.
A gentleman and a scholar.
But yeah, so good. There's a Discord question. Yes, Brendan, you can absolutely tag that. I've got my phone up, so feel free to go ahead and do that. You can also message me privately since you are my husband and you have access to me.
Like not. Like you're in a date or
Well, you know, we have to re-up every year.
okay, good job. You know, gotta make sure you want to keep going.
But it's more of an Outlander thing anyway, though. It's more of a pack.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, really good question. Go for it, Virginia.
Let's see, Brian said, at plot, what are the plans for economic mechanics in the game, and how do they align with the gathering system?
So we have spreadsheets.
Hello.
We got spreadsheets.
I have a degree in economics. So
We're very excited about
Yes.
his degree in economics.
my lord.
Yes.
Which is why it's like, I will let him do it because this stuff sucks.
It's true.
But the big thing is we do have a spreadsheet that has all of our stuff that Jameson made for us, which is based on a scarcity level, which depends on how much goes out. Which means we are keeping track of primarily QR codes to track what goes in the system. Is I have a machine that will tell me what people have gotten, and then I can just automatically lower or increase the scarcity.
Yep. So we're keeping track of how many things are in the game, and we have strict ratios of item numbers to player numbers, and that will change the prices relative to like how many pieces of heavy leather per player there are, whether that's a very scarce item, a normal item, a fruitful item, or a very fruitful item. And as more of a thing enters the market, the cheaper it's going to end up being because there's just so many that like their value is going down.
And I want to add, since this is a barter system, it's kind of like a suggestion.
Yeah,
price,
that's true.
you know?
It's less price and more how much more we put out there.
Yeah.
If you start overfishing herring, we don't have herring. I'm just lying. There'll be less of it. So
Yeah, but it helps because we did want players to have a sense of like kind of what the going rate is.
Our voices are gone again.
Oh.
What? On Discord?
Tragedy.
How?
La 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 la.
Did you mute us on accident?
This is RTC disconnected? What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
Robots.
Seth said it's gotta be the internet that's happening at similar times to the Facebook video drops.
Oh.
Can we get Wolf? Yeah, is there another internet? 'Cause I think I'm on the
Yeah.
kids' internet too.
Yeah, let me go talk to Wolf about.
All right, peeps.
Thank you. Alright.
All right.
I'm going to.
Could you text them on the thing?
I don't
Janine?
know.
I'm sorry. Can you text them and
Yeah,
let
Yeah,
we're fixing it. Just everyone is.
An update on it.
Your economic spreadsheet is like,
Thank you. I didn't even have to use derivatives.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yours hit right after mine, which is weird.
I specialized in the different sides of economics.
Yeah.
I went very theoretical in my both research papers.
Yeah.
I know a
Yeah.
lot about post-tourism.
There you go. Yeah. It was very real world papers, micro and macroeconomics. Like, I'll explain why this oil crisis happened. And that was horrible.
Got my degree in political science.
Yeah.
So, like, econ was related. It was over there. It was, we don't want to talk to them. They do math.
It's true.
You got a degree in both.
Yeah.
Yes. I just think it's funny that we went to school for the same thing. Political science and economics.
Same hat.
Yes. Subtle.
Yeah, but
Discord's
I
connection
degree
is
focused
interrupted.
on very different things because I was international relations focused on South
Me
Korea.
too. I love
Oh, no,
international
South Korea, though.
relations.
Yeah.
Yes. I was looking at comparative economies. Weirdly. Iran and Mexico, very similar, actually.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Strong religious influences, strong oil influences.
Well, since you
Man,
can
you're
reboot everything, everything is still off like the same router. So
Gotcha.
you can reboot everything,
I
but
end
it'll
up
take
writing a paper
like 5
every
to
year
10
about the
minutes.
We're already
contrast
off, so you might as
between
well.
those two.
Okay, all right.
It's
We've already lost.
Very
Facebook's running clean right now, although the audio isn't happening.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, we have to write everything on whiteboards now.
Oh dear.
Oh gosh.
you can let them know that we're going to reboot our router.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Good deal.
I will also. Yeah, I can see this.
I had a meeting at work the other month where we literally were writing everything on whiteboards. It's just, no, it was not a friend.
That
Give it a few minutes.
Okay. We are still being recorded, so we always put it up on YouTube afterwards and still talks.
Hey.
Speaking of things
Let's
that.
talk about world system theory and stuff like that.
Well, speaking of things that we can talk about in recording, like, it's important to note that after our last beta, we had a refresher where we basically went through and we clarified a bunch of stuff. And it's good to find that again. It's our last patch notes. And we clarified a bunch of things that maybe haven't set finally, but are going to set eventually. Like, it's like, what does group combat mean? What does battered mean? What does only definitions? And it's basically our next stage to test these new definitions to then see if we can then promote them, we put them on the website. But it's important to like look back at it.
Yeah, I forgot we did that, so I gotta look at that again.
Yeah, because I know there's been a lot of confusions about like specifically like battered, where it's differently. Other games,
Well, you were
it's like
well,
a
now's your
full body
opportunity.
condition, but
Right.
here it's just like applies to the limb that was injured.
Yeah, I took a bunch of notes on injured or states versus conditions.
Mhm.
All that.
Well, it's more to know which ones stop and which ones don't. Oh wait, I think I got. Well, that was a noise, but I'm still
Oh,
disconnected.
It was a noise.
Someone left us.
Oh
Goodbye.
We miss you already. Who are you?
I don't know. I just know the noise stopped. So if they
Every
can.
player is dear to our heart.
Every
I was
player.
kind of
just
the
can't reach
asshole.
your
I
names.
left
You're
like
too
a
far away.
swallow in the bottle because I didn't want to take the last name.
You didn't want to be what you accused me of being.
Exactly.
I see.
Didn't
You left
want to-
another man to pick up the sin.
I did.
Can we add sins to the pack? Drinking the last drop would be a beautiful sin for someone.
It's superstitions.
Yeah, that'd be
That is a good
superstition. Yeah,
sin.
yeah.
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 That's a sucker.
Make it a Sarabian
Gotcha.
sin. Or a superstition. Sarabian.
Yeah.
Drink the last drop,
Or,
whether it's
you know,
wine
we-
or vein.
Or we can
It's
introduce.
super rude.
We can also
Uh-huh.
introduce some malefic that did it. Maybe.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
someone's like, "Oh, you got the last slice of pizza. Oh, tell me boy's coming for you."
Uh-huh.
And that, like, I feel like in real life sometimes, like,
Yeah.
the last piece of pizza is kind of like a taboo
Uh-huh.
a bit. You know?
You leave that for the fairy.
No, it's not.
This is the fair.
There's the goblin.
Yeah, there's the goblin right
You leave it for the fair.
Uh-huh.
Like, if, I assume I should probably, like, not go into combat right now.
I mean, we're being recorded, so.
Okay.
We're also weirdly still online too, which is interesting.
That's so,
So
weird.
wild.
That is so
So
weird.
wild.
I'm really enjoying the multicolored graphs, though, even though I can't tell what they mean.
I'm pretty sure red is bad.
Well, we have a lot of red.
We do.
That's a lot of red for
Yeah, I don't know
bad.
if that's
That's bad.
We're doing bad.
I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this and see if I can reconnect and see what happens.
Okay.
Disconnect.
Back in a minute.
And then how the call go? It was terrible.
Holy.
Terrible call.
Yeah, that's super
Yeah.
good. I'm super on board.
And all of their bottles were only like $20.
Really?
Yeah.
So good. What is this? What is this called?
It's called Vivace.
Vivace?
Yes. Let me find the page so I can tell you about the grapes that are involved.
There's grapes involved.
Well, yeah, that's why.
Hey, am I gonna have to fight you on mead? Chantal's on my side.
Is wait,
I am.
is
I
mead a
am.
wine? I thought it was just
True,
alcohol.
it's anyone.
Well,
It's
what?
honey wine.
Okay, then I keep my sass. I don't take it back.
I love
Mead is so good. It was one of the oft suggested beverages that we should be consuming during this.
I agree.
You know.
Bottle. Currently, you can get
Also
it for
important.
$18.75.
Gotta
And
make
it's
some and
Vivace
then wait a
or
couple
in a
years
brisk.
and then
Yes.
have
Carrots
another
and
banana.
And
No.
yeah.
We might be
It's
back
really
online.
poetic.
I don't
It's
know.
delicious.
Gewürztraminer,
Are we alive
and
again?
Riesling.
I think we might be
I
online.
don't know what that one
I don't
is.
know.
Miller Thurgau?
Voila.
They pronounced it differently because it's both German and French for some reason. Yes.
Oh.
But Jamie and Jen actually took me to a tasting there,
Yeah.
and it was so delicious. I tried the plain wine from the MT, whatever that is. The Gewürztraminer is delicious. I have 2 bottles of that at home
I
now.
love Gewürztraminer.
Me too. And I've got 2 bottles that are Riesling at home. They're fucking amazing.
Those German sweet wines are like pretty.
Yes.
Pretty magnifique.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
In
Yeah.
college, I was a classy bitch. And I would go to my local QFC, buy myself a bottle of Riesling from the Saint Michel winery, and a bag of fried chicken from the QFC deli.
Oh yes.
Just fried chicken and Riesling.
Fried chicken and Riesling. I mean, that's
Yes.
that's happiness.
That's awesome. Oh man.
Oh.
That's tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm gonna schedule an appointment in my social calendar.
I don't think I do fried chicken. I think I would do like potato wedges, but
Also
What a
delicious.
Yeah,
From experience.
That's fine.
with Riesling, yeah. But
Yeah, Riesling and potato wedges.
The QFC deli has it all.
JoJo's, if you will. Before moving to Washington, I didn't know they were called JoJo's.
they weren't called JoJo's anywhere else, from what I remember.
It's just
Are they
here.
not?
Huh.
Yeah.
It's just here.
I just
Yeah.
they
My
are.
husband thought I was crazy because I kept on calling them JoJo's. I'm like, but that's what they're called.
That is
This
what
I'm
they're
from
called.
this weekend originally.
Yeah.
Okay, we are completely offline right now
Wow.
because this is now
Tragedy.
the reboot is completely happening right now.
Okay. Alright.
My husband's like, what the fuck is a JoJo? And he thought I was making it up.
Well, I feel very literal because I come from California and I was like, they are potato wedges.
Uh-huh.
They are wedges of potato.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and
That's what my husband calls them.
No,
Yeah.
I have heard JoJo's called with sprinkles before, but that's only because I read it.
With sprinkles?
No, like sprinkles are called JoJo's in some places.
Oh.
I only know because my
Like-
grandma was Dairy Queen, and so people like, can I have JoJo's? I'm like,
Why would you put a seasoned potato in your ice cream?
You may not.
Absolutely not.
Forbidden.
Sprinkles.
Ah.
Or like Trader Joe's has their JoJo.
oh, we have
cookies,
noises.
Hey, noises.
which are
Have
basically
we attained?
Oreos.
Have we attained noise?
But they're
Once
much
more?
more.
Are we back?
I see more
Okay.
people than I saw.
We're
before.
super trying to troubleshoot.
Oh.
There's trouble.
Is there
Interaction.
Okay.
is there trouble or have we shot it?
Have we shot the trouble?
We'll
Are
see.
we? I mean, I'm seeing noises as I talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Can
players hear us?
Oh,
Do players hear us now?
Answer?
hello.
Mm.
I
We're
just
looking-
typed Neopets. Can you hear us?
Yes, trouble is shot. Yes.
Yay!
Yay!
The Neopets have saved us. Yet
All right.
again.
So the last thing they had, like,
Yeah.
they got about 15% through the barter. Where you're like, the last thing you said was, remember this is a barter system.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember, it's a barter system, and so basically, these kinds of prices are guidelines.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't going to. You can't necessarily expect that like this is going to be the price that you can expect from all NPCs and all players. It's just meant to give you an idea of the relative worth of something. Because this is also keep in mind, like, salt is meant to be like a baseline of exchange. It's kind of like your point of reference. But I mean, you know, most often in a barter system, you're going to end up, trading a sword for a pile of herbs or something. You know, like whatever makes equivocal sense.
Yeah.
You know.
So- Brian, no, there's not gonna be really a price for it.
Oh,
Is
we
that maybe
we are
the-
we're not gonna put a price sheet up, but we will have a materials. We're planning on eventually putting a material sheet up so you can see how things relate to each other.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's not gonna have money because my pig might be worth a sword to you and a pound of flour to Megan.
Although to
Yeah.
Brian being an NPC, he might very well get
Yeah,
more
that's true.
details.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. But I mean, I guess like this is our very long way of answering that we are paying attention to how many of a thing are being placed out into the world, and tracking like you know, how do I phrase this, Mr. Economics?
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that we're paying attention and it's going to matter.
Uh,
And the relative worth of something is going to be like dependent on how common it is.
that was pretty good, but
Thanks.
we're
It's
keeping
managed
a record,
about
and
Yeah.
there we have formulae and processes that will indicate such statistics as price.
Oh no,
Yes.
we're off again.
Oh, no!
Damn it.
Wolf!
No.
Oh my god!
Okay,
We're off again. I just told you it was okay, but we're not okay.
Nothing is okay.
Nothing is okay.
We're off again.
Oh.
You got no bites.
Not even a bite?
No bites.
So there
But
is
I
the
like
option
bites.
that we don't do it live anymore, but we continue recording and then
Yeah.
post it.
That's true. Maybe we should
Which
do
doesn't
that.
feel as fun.
It doesn't feel as
but-
fun because like it's meant to be like a fireside chat with people and
Yeah.
interact with it.
Yeah.
This is
Like
a fireside vlog.
yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
give it one more try to get the internet focused. 2 more tries.
Sorry guys.
3. It's all good.
Next time we'll have to just, broadcast video interrupted.
Like, our own fucking...
You have all the internet too.
I
I
wonder,
know.
like, we tethered it to like someone else's, like to a phone internet.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea. Let me use my yeah.
Oh,
A hotspot.
Yay.
One hotspot, please.
Or no, actually, I'm just gonna use my phone.
oh,
Oh.
I'll just inform you guys.
you gonna sit there videoing us?
Yeah.
But then I won't be able to see your beautiful
You
face.
can't see it anyway.
Is it still recording on the computer?
Maybe. Who knows?
Multiple
don't
recordings.
None
Yeah.
but God.
We do none but God knows.
Which god, Jameson?
That's
Okay.
the question.
Things have gone all the way down. Unable to start live video? Okay. Let's go ahead and close out here. Yeah, leave the site. Alright. Let's go ahead and get on Discord on my phone, and we can actually do it that way too.
Thank you
Alright.
for keeping a level head, Megan.
Oh.
Problem solving.
Oh.
You're technologically savvy and good at it. I appreciate
We will
that.
now Discord this shit. Actually, can you do Discord on your voice? So why don't you get on there, and I'll do Facebook.
Hell yeah.
Is that powers combined?
Problem solving.
But just voice.
Just voice.
For here you go.
Hello? We're gonna roll with it.
Can you hear us? Type in the chat if you can hear us.
Everything's fucked.
Everything's fucked.
Trying hard to solve it.
Are you hearing me have a problem?
What have you done?
We are
Don't-
professionals.
Stop, I'm sensitive. They can hear me.
Hey!
Yay! Okay,
Yay!
which is
Alright,
good because I
well,
can't
then
really
I'll
start
have
live
one
video.
Alright.
Yeah.
So
1 second. Megan, say something.
Hello.
Can you hear Megan?
Nope. Damn.
okay, putting me in the middle of the thing then maybe,
Oh, that could do.
or just pass it like a mic. Whoever's
I guess
talking.
we could just
Oh,
pass
yeah,
like
we
a
can pass
mic.
like a mic.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, like if we, how do we check this? If we have it in the center here,
We can put
Can
it in the
you hear
dish.
us?
We
it's
have
the
the
ashtray.
Huzzah.
All right.
We have the speaking tray.
I feel like we're a bunch of old people.
Oh, we are a bunch of old people.
It's
We're like,
tray of ashes.
how does it work?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
What is going
I
on?
get a nice young strong man to help fix my internet. Please.
Would someone like to take my partner? Because I would like to use the car but not bring him with me.
I need to be picked up, please, and brought back to my retirement home.
Is
Don't
it all
bring
the
you
way
to
up
live with us
north?
anymore. I'm gonna put you in a home.
Who am I?
It's okay. It's okay.
So we were talking about bartering
There we were talking about the economy.
and the barter.
I'm so sorry that I'm
Is
this
there a-
way.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, everybody.
We're not sorry at all.
Yeah, like,
No.
should we talk about combat or like, should we just keep bullshitting until we're sure we've got a stable internet connection?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
if
feel
that's
like
ever
I feel like we should talk about cultures. There is a
Okay.
suggestion here that we each just pick up our own phones and do it though, which is actually maybe not a terrible idea.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
What do we do on our
Okay.
Well, we might get really
Are we
echoey though. If
Discording?
we're all right
Oh,
next to
we'll
each
get
other.
super echoey, I think.
Am I echoey? Can you also hear me on top of everybody else?
I mean,
Who knows?
Let's see.
Do I have Discord on this?
We hear Megan. Oh, Megan's clear. Can you hear other
Okay.
people in the background?
what about over us in the background? We're over
Hey.
here. Hello.
Hello?
Only Megan. Good. So they only hear me. So that means that my phone's picking up me, but nobody else.
Okay.
Fascinating.
So we're gonna
Is this on Facebook or Discord?
Discord.
Or what? Okay.
This we
Alright.
will attain.
And
Okay.
So
y'all
is this
hear
in
me?
the Age of Ashes Discord?
and then you go to the general.
Okay.
All right.
We're all gonna get on our phones for that suggestion
Join.
from Brendan, actually.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Working
You
on.
should deafen yourselves. That assumes we know how to do that. So.
What does that mean?
Stick our head in something and ring the bell.
It means we can't hear.
So it means you go to your video. So you go to your channel right there, and you click your face,
What?
and then you should be able to deafen yourself.
Gotta figure out how
When you say deafen, do you
There we
mean
go.
mute?
Yes, mute yourself.
Okay.
Well,
alright.
no, mute, because mute will let you talk. You want to
It
not
doesn't-
hear it.
It won't let me do one.
Oh yeah, you gotta do both or nothing.
Oh shit. A phone app on Discord's probably terrible, guys.
Server diff. That
Can
sounds
you guys
bad.
hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. We might have to talk in different rooms or something.
I've just been I muted myself, so unless I'm saying something specific.
If we have to go to separate rooms, this is going to be the saddest fireside
This is so
chat
sad.
ever.
Oh no.
And that makes me blue.
Because you could have just done video chat before.
Oh
Because I wouldn't have been driven all this way.
no. Well, which one of you have cursed us?
It's probably me.
We've been cursed.
I'm on mute right
No,
now.
I prefer to blame a player.
Okay.
Wow.
That's fair.
None of us could possibly be at fault.
Alright, so what were we gonna chat about next? Was it
We were going to talk about our
cultures?
cultures. Let's talk about the fucking culture. Gothic
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah, we'll skip ahead to cultures. It'll be great. The Gothic people.
There they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about them?
Do we
That's
wanna
it.
read the
Incredible.
notable things that Jonah wrote for us?
I'm still futzing around Discord because I'm an old man.
Ah.
Someone else can read it.
I'm also an old man.
Should we just record it?
We are recording, but we're also going to try to talk. Let's just.
Yeah. Because I also really want to like hear what people in the audience have to say too. It was my dream
Yeah.
and hope.
I think they were in meeting notes, is where you put them.
They're all there. They exist.
Yeah. I mean, without pulling them up, I mean, so the Gothic people essentially have a really raw deal. They are living in these cities that are basically like full of carved out territories from warlords, the vast majority of which are like Tramverati, especially Quarrelite. They are in very poor conditions in terms of like sanitation and food supply, and frankly, a lot of these like big sprawling urban Gothic cities, they're kind of run by gang warfare in a way, because you have your territory and you have your allegiances, and you're trying desperately to hold on to that portion of the city that you've got. And and the culture packet goes into a lot more of like the supply chain and everything. But one of the sins that is often talked about associated with the Gothic people is that at times they resort to cannibalism, for example, because food is just so scarce that they're not living in the city or out in the woods. They're not out in nature. They don't have a lot of space, and so while some of them might have like little, kitchen window gardens or small spaces outside, food is really hard to come by. And like their hallmarks are they're often masked. They often have kind of rough nicknames, especially like earned through violence within their gangs. And kind of some inspirations with the culture. It's very like oh my gosh, like Gangs of New York type of stuff. If you're looking to play a sneaky criminal, information broker, thief, assassin, urban underbelly type of character, the Gothic culture is kind of where it's at, and their skills do reflect that. So Does anyone else want to say anything?
Yeah, I've
Right
actually
now.
I pull up the description, making sure that I'm being online. Can you guys hear me? I may have fucked everything up in what I just did. Join voice. Here. They cannot hear me. Now they should be able to hear me. Hopefully. Let's see. Okay, so voice connected. So we actually have a description for the Gothics. Our description that Jonah wrote for us is that the Gothic culture is one made up of pragmatist survivors. They know that they live between the idealized postals of the Salgoths and the ruins of the throne, but they will survive come triumvirati, malefic, starvation, or anything else. Of all the cultures, Gothic people are the most aware of and comfortable with their own mortality.
Oh,
Death is inevitable. No? Can you hear me?
Brennan says you're muted.
I wasn't though. But am I now? Shit.
Yes, you are.
Oh, dang nabbit.
Yes, definitely. I can.
We shall begin again.
We shall begin again. I will read everything. What?
Did they hear what I was running my mouth
Yeah,
about?
I think I was on mute. Wait, let's. Now, can you hear me? Is this now the life that everyone can hear? Am I here?
Yes.
Yes,
Are things forgotten? Alright. The Gothic culture is one made of pragmatist survivors. They know they live between the idealized pedestals of the Salgoths and the ruins of the throne, but they will come triumvirati, malefic, starvation, or anything else. Of all the cultures, Gothic people are the most aware of and comfortable with their own mortality. Death is inevitable, if not permanent, and they aren't afraid of it. And we all brainstormed things that we thought were really cool about each culture. Chantel was currently busy.
Sorry.
But one of the coolest things was that everyone got a game nickname. It's really considered rude to call someone their childhood nickname.
Okay.
Because you should call them by their game name, and you don't get to call them Susie Bedwetter or whatever, because that's rude. You call them what they've earned. She's Susie Sharpteeth. What are you okay there?
I'm so sorry. I'm trying desperately to invite Jono to the server,
Oh, let me hear it.
and I keep copy pasting the types of yeast that I use.
A comedy of errors.
There we go. Okay, there it is. We
Thank
have
you.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And we also came up with the concepts of what we would play if we were playing with that in that culture, which I thought was cool too.
Mm-hmm. For example, Chantel's before. You can talk about yourself.
Yeah. How do I? Hang on. Am my voice connected right now? Can they hear me?
Here, take my phone and read the things I've
No,
got.
it's okay. There we go. I got it.
Yeah.
So I mean, basically, I feel like if I was gonna play a member of the Gothic culture, one of the things that I think is so rad is the fact that a lot of the Vanellian faith is underground, and so you're super an underdog right now. Like the people that are on top are the Quarrelites and the Triumvirati in that regard, and so I would super want to be a Lurite or some kind of Vanellian priest that's trying to help people, trying to spread the good word and not get caught. That sounds so fun to me personally. So I don't know about you guys, but
I'm sort of again, I'm a bit of a supper puppet. I enjoy playing characters that have tragic backstories. So one thing that I would probably do is one of the Gothic traditions is that if your child hasn't died by the time they're 13, you kill them so they don't fear death, with the expectation that they're just going to rise up in the morning. So what I would be interested in is someone who's fled their city because on their 13th year they murdered their kid and they stayed dead.
They didn't come back.
And they did come back, and it's just this heartbreaking story of they thought they were doing the right thing because you have to not be afraid because this always happens, and I guess they were at peace with it.
that's cool. Oh my god.
I cheated and have a Gothic NPC, so I already have the character I'll play if I'm going to play a Gothic, and he's a totally legitimate insurance business salesman. Totally legitimate. You can trust him.
You might be muted, Jenna.
No! Damn it!
I weep.
I was witty and funny, damn it.
I assure everyone that
He's
Jono
informed
was
and he's very, very sad.
and he was very funny.
He is so sad.
Ah,
You
I
never-
can.
you never get
Jonah
that.
hates Discord like I
That's all
hate
we do.
Discord. Which is that.
Okay. Wait, no, I'm hearing it out of it, not... Okay, there's the microphone. Come
Oh
on.
no.
I can do technology, I promise.
We are LARP runners. We are not Discord mavens.
my general is newly on here, so
Yes.
we just had to force him to get on just so he could talk.
Incredible.
My technology skills are pointed elsewhere, not in Discord. Although apparently they're not getting the internet to work, which I would have thought was within my powers.
Would it be LARP related if it wasn't a shit show?
No, it's a good
I
point.
have to enable push to talk. How do I do that on my
Thank you so much for being patient with
let me
us,
get
guys.
So do you want to answer through my phone?
Yeah, sure. So, doing this on someone else's phone, I cheated and have an NPC that is a totally legitimate businessman who sells insurance, and you can trust him, I promise. That's all. That's the Gothic character I would play because you can trust him. Believe me.
Also, real quick, I'm gonna
insurance.
turn on push to talk, so it should be easier.
What?
The push to talk.
But then I'd have to push to talk. And I don't know how to do it on my phone.
Oh, okay, I thought John
It tells me
wanted
I have to push to talk on mine.
Oh, that's strange.
I'm treating this like it's a business meeting.
It's a business
and
meeting.
I keep muting and unmuting
Yes.
over again.
This is
That's
wild.
what I do too.
Yeah, this is bananas.
Oh man.
Bananas. So I think that mechanically, the Gothic culture is really well built for information gathering. There's a couple perks there that are super, super great. Friend indeed. Death is no stranger is just kind of cool. It means that you're used to death. You killed your child and they didn't come back, and so you come back with less, or you're more likely to live long because you. When you die in a personal failure, you only lose 3 memories versus 4. But also you can be inner city and have a lot of streetwise stuff, and it's actually really well mechanically minded for that. Also, it's in your culture that as kids you just ran around gathering information on your friends, so it's just this kind of nifty thing to be Peaky Blinders, little kids or sea urchins. Street urchins. Street urchins.
Age of Ashes is a silly place.
Oh
The sea urchins just gather information.
But yeah, no, Peaky Blinders was actually another inspiration for the Gothic culture. That's a fun show. What about you guys? What do you want to play?
Oh man. I similar to you. I love the Vanellian, the way that Vanellians have to kind of exist underground. What am I?
Did you unmute?
I swear to God, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. It would be just like me to fuck that up. Anyway, so I love the idea, particularly of some of the smaller cults that they have. Specifically, the Lamentians. Just the idea of being someone who is desperate to find good in the world and just to believe that there has to be something we can do to make this better and be willing to destroy themselves to make that happen. Oh, that's hot.
That's hot.
Can we talk about Mama Mort though?
Oh yeah, man. That lady.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I really enjoy is the what do I call it? The kind of like memento mori vibe that the Gothic culture has. They're kind of they're very pragmatic and very accepting of death, and they've got that kind of gallows humor going on as a culture, just because they see so much darkness and so much awful crap that comes out of human nature, and they got to keep going. And so Mama Mort is a very prominent cult within the Gothic culture, and it's a worshipping of the figure of death essentially, and how that kind of cuts both ways, both kind of wishing death upon others while also wishing to have the best death or safety from death for you and those you care about. So yeah, it's definitely baked into the culture.
What about you, Virginia?
Oh, that's right. You've got one here. Do you remember yours?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I just had to unmute myself. Yeah. So as someone who doesn't like horror movies, I like to create myself everything that I find disturbing. So it's not scary to me, but everyone else hates it. And the idea of being someone who is kind of a reluctant flesh butcher seller, but like human flesh.
Just bring it closer.
Can we hear? Hello?
Just bring it closer to your face.
Hello?
They can hear you, but it's quiet. Butcher's of flesh.
Flesh butcher.
Oh.
No.
Okay. I want to play a
You're so
cannibalistic
good.
butcher who doesn't like it, but they have to feed their family. But they get discounts because they're the butcher, so they can bring home free food. I don't even know if anyone can hear me.
I think they can hear you. Just quiet.
Yes.
This is there's a hell's yes butcher.
Like a Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, like you said, a reluctant Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
And it's a grim reality of where they live and the times that they live in, but it's like, you just gotta deal coke to pay your daughter's medical bills and stuff like that, and it just takes it to the next level when you don't know who is gonna die and come back or not, and then what happens to you if you start doing things that are really morally wrong, just against human nature, and then just seeing what happens from there.
All right, Walter White.
I'm gonna try and say something. Can people hear Jono now?
Can
Maybe.
people hear Jono now? Is that stuff?
I said stuff. Can people hear it?
No.
Oh.
No. The answer's no.
I hit the push to talk button, and I'm holding it.
Doesn't seem to be doing anything though.
God damn.
Here, talk to my
Okay, so something I appreciate about the Gothic culture is that they've got the Salgoths up on the hill being all prissy and fancy, and they've got the Triumvirati on the gate. And so the Goths are between a rock and a hard place, and everything's pointy and sharp, and they keep going. There's an odd kind of hope there, and, death's gonna happen. You might get sacrificed to a dark being, you might get pissed on by a Salgoth, but you keep doing what you need to do. I appreciate that.
You also have the most reason to be in Cenotaph, though, as a Gothic, because
That's true.
you want to get out of Dodge. It's a terrible place.
Mm-hmm.
That's super true.
Overpopulation's a serious concern in those megacities.
They, I do think it's worth just kind of like a brief landing upon their cultural sins, because they've got pride and dishonor,
Oh yeah.
which kind of to me speaks to that kind of sense of it's a little dichotomous, right? Because the pride sins are like bragging and flaunting your wealth or sacrificing others in your place, and that makes sense as a cultural sin amongst the Gothic people because you're among people that are lacking, and so it seems in very poor taste to be flaunting what you've got, and it's a betrayal to sacrifice others for something like that you committed, and also like I feel like the Gothic people are very much a group of like, show us, don't tell us. Like I don't care about your braggadocio. Like do what you said you were going to do, and so that kind of then you've got the dishonor sin that they have, where you cannot fail to respond in kind to an insult. You cannot turn down a duel or a challenge, and you cannot disrespect a peer. And that kind of speaks to sort of like their organization. They kind of have like a crime family gang kind of organization within their cities, and so you don't like back down from challenges. That makes you out to be a weak person, and that's a sin within the culture. But so I just wanted to kind of touch upon those because I feel like the cultural sins definitely give you a sense of what is important to these people.
Yeah, agreed. Did everyone talk about the Gothic things they want to talk about?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Our next up is Sal Gothic.
Is there any chance of us going back to video, or is that just
Unfortunately, now that our video it's locked me out. It has now decided that we are bad people. And I can't get on video no matter what. It's like my phone's like, no, you can't do this anymore. There's an error. I'm like, I don't know what error, but there's an error.
I wonder what happened if I brought my laptop out. It probably wouldn't matter at this point. It's like, I'm just trying to figure out like a way to
Be seen.
Small.
We are
To
still
be
being
seen.
recorded, technically.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey.
But Salgoths are our next up. Salgothic. What is our plural? Is it Salgoths? Is it Salgothics?
It's Salgoths.
It could be both.
Both?
You know, I
Salgothic. No.
oh my god.
They're gone.
Yeah. Well, fair. Yeah, I think it could be Salgoths or Salgothics. Maybe it's a regional difference.
Oh, it's
Salgotharine of the highest.
maybe these people
Yes.
in Aquila think differently than the people in Fenestrats.
I mean, they are separated by an awful lot of geography.
The Sallys. Oh, fuck you, Brendan. Salgoths.
How dare.
Jesus, what the
How dare.
Do you want to read your description? Since
Yeah, I can read on my. I'll have the text here. So, what I wrote: the Salgothic culture is made up of fundamentalists, dreamers, and idealists. They are the true heirs of the throne, and they know that they deserve their place of safety and privilege. Salgoths know in their bones that they each hold the responsibility to bring the world back to serving God and the throne, even if they don't know how that will be possible. Their purity of purpose and spirit is reflected in the way they present themselves. Beauty within leads to beauty without. God blesses those who truly serve him, so those who are not blessed have obviously failed in some way and must work to find God's favor.
And that speaks partially to one of our flaws we have for them, which is the dark mark, which is that you've got this birthmark that obviously means you're a bad person. Or your parents were really bad people and maybe got a little too close to their family.
Yeah, God has decided that you must be imperfect in body in some way, and marked for the sins of yourself or your forefathers.
I do really like their punishment system. It's ridiculous.
Oh, torture plays?
Torture plays.
Ugh.
My favorite. Sin Plays. I think is the official name.
I know I'd want to play an archaeologist though, because if you're a Salgothic, you don't know why your area is safe from the Triumvirate. You're not sure what's going on, but like you need more of it. Like you need, because whatever that is that makes the Triumvirate stay out is useful for the entire fucking world. Because Triumvirate are scary, but also you're running out of space. So you're off on Vagrant to go find more holy whatever juice it is to rub on more buildings, however that is to figure it, so you can bring it back home and have more of it.
Another thing about them is that they work so hard to record the history so that it's not lost. They're preserving as much as they possibly can, creating that trust for the future. You know, so there's that bit of hope there. There's that bit of heroism, the idealism of no. There's a purpose to us staying pristine and perfect behind our walls. We do this because it needs to happen. I like that.
Yeah, and I took that in a slightly creepy direction when I was coming up with my character concept, if I was going to play Salgon. Of they have the theory that the reason all these cities are safe is because they perform these activities, and that's what keeps like the magic going.
Yeah.
So because it's the only thing they think that is consistent between all like these three cities. So they are trying to figure out what specifically about these activities, or which activity specifically is keeping the city safe. So they set up experiments, and then like, okay, let's see. Oh, they were murdered by Coralites again. Obviously, it's not that portion. Maybe let's reconfigure and go again.
Yes.
Action.
Ooh, it says I can get back on video now. We can try
Really?
it. Yeah, let's see if it does it.
See if it's possible.
All right. I was trying to use my laptop.
I mean, video.
Testing.
I mean, have it on hand. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't discard any option.
I'm gonna grab my charger so that it's ready to go back.
Hot.
Okay, it seems to think we're live. We'll see what it does.
Great.
So,
Okay.
I unsurprisingly love the
Yeah.
small cults for these people as well. I love the broken bow. Just the idea that people keep seeing this man every time they do a hard hallucinogens, and everyone's having this kind of shared hallucination that gives them wisdom and secrets. The eldritch horror of that just really calls to my dark spirit, and I would love to explore that as a character. That seems really cool.
Also, I think he's, if I remember, is that the, no, that's Inflict. I'm mixing them. Never mind.
So many Eldritch Horrors.
You can never have enough Eldritch Horror.
Or enough Eldritch Horrors.
They get expensive after a while. You know, just that sanity.
Mechanically, those Gothics are really good for the Holy Mission. It's one of their perks. I look at perks a lot when I look at like how I'm building characters. And basically, the Holy Mission is you enter play with a quest, a special quest from staff, and then eventually, if you pass that, you get another quest, and it's basically like a little special plot that you have to accomplish. I think it's a super cool perk.
So, for me, I like the idea of the Sal Gothic being, very, very pious and very, upstanding citizens, but there's just something underneath that's not right. Why would you have weird sin plays like that if you didn't enjoy them? And I like the idea of being, a very prim and proper socialite that kind of gets dragged down into debauchery and, the triumvirati and, slowly loses their mind as they stray farther and farther away from what they were taught and kind of embracing what they find in this new, uglier religion that appeals more to them on a primal level.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
That's super cool. Yeah, I mean, I watched Bridgerton, and
That's the concept.
that's my concept. Yeah, I super love the idea of playing like a really picky socialite. That it's like it's the season now, and it's time for me to like debut and choose a suitor and all of that, and just be like a picky asshole about it. Like and no one is good enough because I don't actually want to be partnered off. I'm of a very like proud bloodline, and no one is actually good enough. I love the idea of the intrigue and all the different ways you can misstep, and like to be alone with someone without a chaperone is like gasp worthy and scandalous, and I love skirting along all of that scandal. Like that sounds super fun to me. So I want to play Bridgerton.
Didn't you also say that anyone the John Mulaney thing? Oh,
Yeah. Anyone who's seen seen my dick and knows my parents has to die.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They must die.
They don't. They
No
leave
one.
me.
They
Yeah.
cannot live to dishonor me.
No,
Like,
not allowed.
They might partner with me with you, a little poison in your food. Now you're way too sick to take me to that dance.
exactly. Yeah, I love the like subtle bloodthirstiness of the Sal Gothic people. Like the fact that like they have all of that poison and special herbalism lore and like very refined ways of fucking people up. So yeah, I super dig that.
The smoke's just attracted to you, Nicole.
Yeah, it's chasing you apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, it was going that way for a long time, but
Their sins are defilement and passion. Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes along with what we're talking about. The defilement sins are to not be unchaperoned with someone outside your culture. The big one is to marry or procreate with someone outside your culture. Does smoke follow you?
yes.
I don't know if you guys can see, but like Nicole has the minor curse where the fire smoke just follows wherever she moves her chair to, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you taking one for the team though, because it's
Yeah.
totally new.
Yes. And then like the middle sin is to to share cultural artifacts or destroy cultural artifacts, because the Sal Gothic are trying so hard to preserve and maintain, that they consider themselves the stewards of mankind's future.
And so it is the ultimate betrayal to that holy mission that they have to defile or share or destroy that knowledge and those artifacts that they have.
You can have like an Indiana Jones that belongs in Lithia.
Yeah, it belongs in Lithia. Exactly.
That'd be what I would want to play.
That's
That-
a fun character.
Yes, the
for
guy
sure.
who gathers all the knowledge and doesn't want personal power. He doesn't want to, have the sword to smite the enemies. He gathers the knowledge because we need this knowledge. The human race needs this knowledge. So I'm going to put it somewhere safe where we can use it when we need it. We don't need it now. You don't need to see this. No.
Well, and it truly means something that the Triumvirati cannot enter those Sal Gothic enclaves. So that's got to mean something.
It's
Right.
true. It's like we're just witnessing a miracle. It's like,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Yeah, and then the passion makes sense given how rigid their culture is. Their society is so based off of how you present yourself, because you are supposed to model the ideal human. Everyone is supposed to be living their lives according to these pristine moral prescriptions, and so to lose your temper, to become willingly intoxicated, to lose yourself in a rage or run away due to fear, to give into those baser human instincts, and to break that facade of being a model human being, that's the sin. So
It's okay to withdraw, but you must do it with dignity. Oh, sorry.
They probably can hear you.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Did we talk about your dealers over there already?
Dealers?
Alright. I have down that you were interested in some opium dealers. For Sal Gothic?
I vaguely remember that.
Remaris and Sorum.
Yes, being part of the Remaris Sensorum and also being a drug dealer, but just you do it right, because if you're giving drugs to the upper class and other people of respectable stations, you gotta be good about it, and you can't look like Pablo Escobar. You have to look better than that, and yeah, drugs. Drugs are fun.
The Remaris and Storm are actually probably one of my favorite cults. I love them. Their mission being to experience everything the world has to offer.
I just want to give some points to Deeds, who actually wrote a big long chunk of them. Though I think we ended up getting away. Was it not?
Yeah, and Mama Mort
Oh, Mama Mort
especially.
too, yeah.
Yeah, it was an amazing contribution, and I love that they're using the elongated lifespan that people have, and it's obviously that means something. We've been given this lifespan, and we are using it in order to truly, feel everything, see everything, read everything, play every instrument. And so anyway, they're my favorites.
I love the idea that when the Remaris Sensorum just keep going, they end up being Cenobite-esque from Hellraiser. Just keep going.
Maybe that's why.
It's horrifying.
Yeah,
it's
that's
beautiful.
totally scary.
Alright. I think our last culture to talk about today is the Forgotten Ones.
I'm glad you remembered them.
You know what? It took me some work. I take notes.
Hey.
Yay.
Yeah. That was this edition.
So, the Forgotten Ones are a shared culture of individuals. Each one of them does their utmost to stand on their own. The few social connections they have are close, tight-knit relationships. They reject the trappings of civilization and expect everyone else to reject them too. They look down on the people who stay hiding behind their walls. Everyone will live as long as they can, but death comes for us all. When it is time to fall, it is the will of Vikatra. Every person should work to keep their problems from becoming too big for them to handle. But if the problem grows too large, the community will come together with as much force and resources as are needed. Every member has a deep understanding of the Vikatran faith, and the secret rules of the faith shape every aspect of their culture. Forgotten Ones live all over the world, but hide themselves from the people of the nations.
Yeah, You may notice, like, a theme, actually. These three cultures, Gothic, Sal-Gothic, and Forgotten Ones, they are cultures that set themselves apart or are walled off in some regard. The Gothic people, kind of not by choice. They are penned in because the outside world is so horrific, and the constraints placed upon them by like their warlord gang leaders are in place. It's very scary to go beyond the walls. The Sal-Gothic people are behind walls because they want to be, because they are preserving culture as it should be for the time when mankind can take back the world from the forces of evil, and they cannot let in any sort of influence from the outside, penetrate their cities. The Forgotten Ones, similarly, they're all over. They're not behind physical walls. They have communities completely scattered throughout our map, but they set themselves apart because they know that they've got the right of it, that everyone else has messed up the world and is the blight, and it is their responsibility to preserve how mankind is supposed to live in harmony with nature, with the world as it is, and it's their responsibility to fix malefic, to fix what is broken, and if they interact too much with the blight, with those communities that lie outside of their Vikatra-fearing and worshipping proper communities, they will become tainted, and they will become lesser than what they should be. That they might have their religious beliefs and convictions tainted.
I've got two good questions actually that just brought up.
All right.
First off, which I know you're gonna love to answer, is do Forgotten Ones have to be one of the particular specific major clans listed in the packet, or can they be outside of those? Are there smaller clan outshoots?
Oh yes. So basically, everything in the packets is meant to be suggestions. They are examples of established, bloodlines, houses, tribes, clans. Any of the culture packets, what's in there is an example of something that you could play a part of. You are always free to make up your own, Forgotten Ones group, clan, however you want to go about that. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's a glare cost for creating candidates only if you want it to be like everyone knows about this.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. If you want it to go up on the website so that everyone knows what you've created, that's the glory cost.
Yeah, if you want your particular clan to be like important within the Forgotten Ones culture, like everyone across the culture is going to be familiar with you. That's when glory cost comes into play.
The second question, I think.
Oh, I was showing her Erica's follow up.
Oh, gotcha.
I was talking to Anna, which is just yeah, so basically, like, kind of going back to the sins of the cultures, if I could for a minute. The Nemean and the Sal-Gothic are the ones that have the cultural sin to not really be interacting as much. The Forgotten Ones, interestingly enough, that is not part of their cultural sins. They are, a lot of them anyway, are super on board with converting people to Vikatranism if they can. There is some of the tribes do limited trade with outsiders, so that there are those ways of interacting with people, and that they even have like internal disagreements as to like the extent of how much you should be interacting with light.
And it changes per clan too.
Different clans that have different ways of approaching it based on their geography, their history, but basically the idea is to not let outsiders necessarily know where you live. Don't let them because the Forgotten Ones are also like amazing trap setters and hunters. They've famously got like booby traps all around. So for a lot of cultures, they don't even know that the Forgotten Ones exist because they're so good at keeping themselves hidden, keeping themselves separate from like that triumvirate influence, the Benalian influence, the Aberan influence, because everyone else has it wrong.
related. Dave asked what do Forgotten Ones call themselves.
And we actually have it in the packet. It's actually near at the top. It's called the People of the Old Ways, is what we use in the packet. So stuff similar to that. You might call them like Beloved of Gothic. It's probably word reader, but People of the Old Ways is what we use in the packet.
Yeah, or you might use your clan name.
Mhm.
You know, that's what I am. It's my clan.
Then there are 2 questions, one from Alice and a follow-up from Erica.
You also read them once. People aren't
Oh.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alice is kind of asking, like, with the emphasis on isolation, you know, how do, if I'm understanding the question correctly, like how do you recommend interacting with the game as a whole? And that actually was something that we tried to consider with each culture packet, was to be sure that we wrote in ways where people could have a reason for coming to Cenotaph and a reason to interact. Because, I mean, you know, you want to have a reason to play with other people, and we've got different things built in there. You know, one of the more, if you want to play a more tragic or negative story for your character, is you might be banished temporarily from your culture.
The coolest thing about Vacatrons actually are the punishment tasks. It's assumed that if you do something that's against Vakatra, which includes dying and coming back, your elders will give you a task to send you off to go figure out what you did wrong, to be more in touch with yourself, and to do some great deed. And so it's very likely that you're off on your punishment task. And so while it's expected you normally wouldn't spend time on the blight, you're doing this now for something. You have a goal.
Yeah, and then so your punishment task, that can be part of your background. It's like, you know, I am supposed to, you know, save a grove from being overrun by the blight, or I am supposed to convert someone so they understand the true meaning of the Katra. You know, so that could be a way in which you are.
A different culture, something Chantel mentioned earlier, was that Selgoths can be around people from other nations if they have a chaperone. So if you've got a buddy who is RPing with you who is also a Selgoth, you can be each other's chaperones around the foreigners.
It's also expected though that you'll probably be on your bakery if you're Islamic,
Yeah.
and you're probably like, it's your Rumspringa, you're off, you know, it's okay to get a little bit of sin on you, you know,
Yeah.
just for a time.
As a treat.
Or even worse, maybe you decided just to return.
Oh no,
Maybe
for a boy, Chantel? What?
for a boy.
I mean, one of my concepts was someone's like, I really don't want to marry the guy that I'm supposed to marry when I get back home, so I'm going to take as long as I can for my my vagary.
Yeah.
Oh, I've missed the deadline. Oh, I'll just write to let them know that I've been held up so they don't accidentally hold my funeral.
Just like your own.
But he might be dead by the time I get back because he was kind of frail.
Yeah. And I mean, and you can also to like kind of go back to the Forgotten Ones and that question, like, you know, you also can be trying to be sure that other cultures do not discover the location of your clan. You could be like trying to interact with them to keep them away. You could be on a conversion mission to try to like spread the word of the Katra. Oh no, I'm not seeing the comments. Oh no.
Sorry.
It's
It's a gift. Father, forgive me for a way to commit a sin.
Oh no.
yeah.
Yeah. Or you could just be like one of those Forgotten Ones that, you know, would like to trade.
Like your community might need something, so you have taken upon yourself to interact with these lights so your village doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm a capitalist.
Yeah. No, I do. One of the tidbits about the Forgotten Ones that I love is that they do not have the same concept of trade as a lot of other people do. Their sense of value and worth is how much you can use something. So, for example, like, they don't really believe in surplus. If you can use a thing, great. But if I've got enough fish to feed my family, that's one thing. But if I have more fish than my family can eat, those fish are worthless to me. And so, like, you know, to ascribe value to that surplus of fish is really alien to these people. And so, like, when they're trading with someone, they don't necessarily have that same sense of like equivocal worth. If they need a shovel, for example, like they need the shovel. That shovel is valuable, and they will trade with you. But they might offer, like they might just give you the fish, because to them the fish do not have that sense of inherent worth because they're not using them. So you should take them. Take the fish if you can use them and they don't go to waste.
Yeah, we have an alternate degree thing there. You can't hoard just to hoard.
Yeah, to hoard is quite naughty.
I love how capitalistic our Hesha are in this. There's claiming all the things they can do for you in the chat here. They're gonna be decoy bombs, chaperones. They're gonna convince people that your grove is haunted so they don't go into your grove.
What is this turtle and why is it related?
I'm not sure. Can be hired. Sorry, they don't do this for free. They can be hired. This is the Hesha ad for everybody. They would like to do things for you.
What's the turtle?
Is the turtle?
It's eating a pigeon.
Oh my god, that turtle's terrifying.
I don't understand, but I like the story that's being told here.
This turtle shows you how you
Holy fuck!
They'll get you.
They'll get you.
No.
So
When you see a turtle malefic trying to eat you and pull you into the water, you know why now.
Yeah, no, super true.
Nope.
Turns out turtles are scary. I guess.
also though, we have a full we don't ever want to leave you alone to yourself forever. Plot's got your back. You'll have some friends somewhere, or enemies, but people that you can talk to. Turtle friends. No.
How dare you.
Turtle friends.
I don't want turtle friends. Look at that. The turtle is not my friend.
You definitely don't want turtle enemies.
Oh, good point.
We said
That
people,
Jameson.
just we said people of the old ways. It's in the packet.
Oh yeah.
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 And I know it's kind of, unfortunately, our packets are really fluffy and full of information, so I understand that it's hard to
Yeah. And it's probably worth pointing out that we don't have our culture packets on lock or anything. Like basically, if you want to take it upon yourself to educate yourself about all the cultures, feel free to read as much or as little of those culture packets as you want. If you also don't need to read them at all. The world is full of isolated pockets of humanity, and you can totally enter play not knowing a single damn thing about what's in a culture packet if you don't want to. I'm from an isolated podunk backwater town, and that's fine.
I would recommend reading them because they're pretty cool.
They are cool. We worked very hard on them. I just also know that they are dense. And so, I especially do recommend for your own culture, take a skin. It can help you with your role play. But I also, don't want you to overwatch.
The Hesha also say they'll be hired to tell you about your culture.
They'll be hired to tell you about your culture.
Hesha muscle over here.
I was just thinking, yes,
We won't necessarily be right.
it might be important for Outlanders to know that they hate dire rats.
Sure.
They have a holiday where they murder them en masse.
Let me tell you about you.
I know things about you that you could never know.
You might not be right, but you want to hear about those forgotten ones, and here you're forgotten.
I assure you, I've read your culture packet.
So we have some ideas here. I think I talked about my idea was a punishment task person, because I just love the guilt. I have to go prove myself to Uncle Fred who gave me this task and something aggressive. I died and I came back. I didn't even mean to.
Yeah, I really would like to lean into the Vicatran faith. Because, these people are totally a theocracy. They are hardcore, religious. They're all about Vicatra. That's the way you're supposed to live your life. In the Age of Ashes, they've kind of become the hardcore religious culture, essentially. And so I think it'd be really fun to probably be probably a cultist of the female face, I think. I think it would be fun to kind of support the community and to kind of try to have those bridging conversations and peacekeeping. Though I gotta admit, having a focus beyond prolific hunting with a male face cultist would also be super cool.
Man, in that same vein, rangers. Oh man, a ranger in the Forgotten Ones culture, really in their element, and just the tragedy of slowly becoming the things that you exist to destroy. Like, that's the good sad feels for me. Love those tears.
Oh, I got a good question here, actually. David's like, peacekeeping, we've got bias, right? So bias is, so how would you do peacekeeping when you're not getting involved with sins of others?
I fucking sin.
Oh, okay, there we
I
go.
would
That's how it
fucking
rocks.
Like, yeah. I mean, that's the trick, right? It's like how do you remain neutral while bridging those gaps? And you can, like, depending on the situation, I'm sure that you can very carefully thread that needle in terms of giving advice without taking sides, trying to, like, teach the Katra to these unwashed masses that don't know any better. But I mean, I do think that periodically there's just going to be a sin that happens. Like I'm gonna see that someone has to me what I think is a more valid point, and I'm going to support them, and then I've got to atone. You know? I've got to make that right.
our chat's on fire.
Yes. I'm loving what Ayla's wrote there.
Yeah.
They wrote, I learned nothing except that I know everything, and that I can embrace the sin for being a goddamn professional.
That's the way of the world.
No,
Yes.
I really, and I think that's actually a really good way of thinking. Sin's not this bullying thing that you're gonna sin a little bit. Like, I mean, I've been fucking in sloth this pandemic, and I feel bad about it, but like, it's how you get your points back so you can do your job.
Yeah.
Well, and also I kind of think atonement's fun. Like to me that also feels like fun role play. Like if I'm faith in a higher power, I'm going to be participating in a ritual in line with my religion. I'm going to seek out a priest. I'm going to go through that ritual and have that role play. If I'm faith in self, I'm going to probably seek out another player and be like, look, man, like this is where I fucked up. Like listen to my tale of woe. We're going to commiserate. We're maybe going to have a glass of wine, and I'm going to walk away feeling a little better about myself.
I do really like the faith themselves.
Yeah.
I like them both, obviously. Jim, did you want to talk about your character?
Oh, yeah, I could. So, if I were to play a Forgotten One, my ideal concept would be kind of a Skald role, going around to the other Forgotten One groups and learning about their stories, hearing about how awesome they are, and weaving it into a narrative to make them sound even more awesome, and then going to other Forgotten One groups and telling them about how awesome that first group was. And basically just making a circuit of all the Forgotten people telling them how awesome each other are. Yes.
That's the truth.
I believe you. Okay.
I really was struck by the idea of, I have a deep special place in my heart for the other face, and this slightly goes against it, but I really was charmed by the idea of being like a feral child that had been marked by the other face, but they didn't want to be secluded and kept alone. They wanted to be where, they could interact with people, and people could love them, and people could be their friends, and people could talk to them. And so they're this outsider looking in that somehow, maybe gets drawn in a welcoming way, or something bad happens that just, it's started by kind of a weird, unconventional social starting point.
Like a weird Ariel from Little Mermaid.
I specifically phrased it so that I didn't say that.
Yeah,
But I thought it.
There's no escape.
So there's a question on the board that I'm actually not sure of. It says, there's a worry about group atonements. I don't remember having large group atonements running for rituals.
I think we made it specifically so that it wouldn't take large groups.
Yeah,
No.
I think our largest group atonements in the
outlet.
Outlander.
The
No, but that's not a
spirit.
religious totem. Oh, it's in the spirits? Is it
Yeah,
in
spirits.
the
Yeah,
spirits?
the spirits. And I think for most of them, you need some kind of audience.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Josh.
And they say Outlanders require 7 and Medallion require 7 folks.
Oh, that's just for
Yep.
the other.
Yeah. I thought they meant you had to all come together and atone as a group.
Oh, yeah, so that's too.
No, you just need people to witness your shame.
Yeah.
I thought that was for the
So,
the
no, it's important to know that you can have vulgar tones.
That's true too.
So
Yeah.
the focus there is separate focuses. It's a little harder to atone if you got smaller mitts, but you can have vulgarity in there.
That's true.
Um,
The idea being that like we really wanted it to be clear that the proper way to do it is to do it in front of an audience. You know, most people are going to probably confess their sins at a, you know, their high mass, basically, whatever your culture's version of that
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
'Cause it's not like confessing your sins in like Catholic religion where you go into a little booth and, you know, bless me Father for I have sinned. It's saying, you know, you stand up on stage and all your friends get to see you as you go, so I done fucked up.
Yep. And you might find a practitioner that is willing to perform the rite with that vulgarity to give you that sense of privacy if it's very important to you. But that does mean that there's a chance the ritual won't work because it's not being done right.
Seth asked if you can, or does it have to be some people you like,
Nope.
or can you do it in the tavern?
Yeah, it's actually tavern's really the equivalent. It's meant to be like a cultural thing. It's like people know that you've sinned.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I want to pull up the text of the rituals.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
So the priest assembles an audience of no less than 7 witnesses to hear the sins of the targets.
Yep.
The priest may include themselves among the targets. So you
Yeah, and it's not even like faithful Benalians or anything, right? It's
That's
just
just
like
witnesses.
at least for the Benalian.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at right now.
The high spirits one I think is a bit harder.
yeah, I think the high spirits one is the more complex one.
Yeah.
Because I do think it has to be people that are
Josh says, does it need to be within an Outlander band? Or...
we gotta check.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We need to pull that one up.
Yeah, that one's slightly different.
So
But I think it's typically your Outlander band
Well,
that's there.
7 Hesha can atone anything.
we gotta have
Your local Hesha.
7 Hesha with different priests of different things. So each be a different thing.
Yeah,
So
you gotta
try-
diversify.
So tribunal is actually just the members of your group. It doesn't actually have a wait, that's tribunal. Yeah, tribunal. It's not actually a number of people on your tribunal. It's just meant to bring your group together. So your Outlander pack should hear your sins.
So if you're like a pack of 2, like
Then
that can still work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not, and it's
And
also
it's-
not it's people who are there. It's like if
Yeah.
part of your pack's back home, they don't count. It's everyone who's in the city at the time in your pack. They're supposed to be there basically.
Yeah. So if you're a member of one of those, unmute myself.
It does say no less. It says now at the same time though you do that's the one people are required. The cultists can add any additional witnesses to the center of the circle. They must number no less than 7.
Oh, I stand corrected. That's
Yeah.
Chantal.
But the thing is, like, the
Cannot
only
be
people that
2
matter,
people.
the point is the important knows that you're a cult. So it could be 2 and then other people, but you have to hold your cult there, so it's slightly harder.
So
Right.
basically, like, if you are a solitary Outlander that doesn't have your band there, you've got the the priest of the spirit that you're confessing your sin to, but you've still got to gather some people around to bear witness to the bad things you did. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can totally hire those Hesha to
but-
listen to your thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all of your clan or tribe if you're scattered over a large area. So like Labar, they frequently have people everywhere and only like 1 or 2 members in a particular area. So you just need to gather the reasonable number of people. So
Yeah.
who's that game?
And the plus witnesses.
Yeah, because like,
And the
you might be playing
witnesses.
a PC that doesn't have a band with you. You might be like the loneliest Outlander.
A one-man band.
Yeah.
I also do know that there are other ways to get rid of sin that are atonement bushes and stuff in some of the smaller cults and things. Just keep an eye out for those things that you can do.
I have actually a question for the channel because I had fully intended to review combat basics, but with all of our technical difficulties and our tomfoolery, we super didn't get around to it. Like, is that something that would be beneficial for us to like make a video about? Like, if people learn better that way and we can post that later? Is it something where at our next fireside chat we should really make sure to put that in there and plan for it. It's like, what do
So the problem is one of the internet fails us again now.
it's true.
Honestly, let's just make a YouTube video,
Make a YouTube
that,
video.
and we can do like a basic set, an advanced set. That would be a great explainer.
Yeah, like if people are interested.
Oh,
in
they're
that.
super interested. YouTube series.
Brian
Yeah.
said go to fight days.
Yeah,
Video
good.
fight days.
That's super true. Yeah, I could,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because then
Fight
you can have
practice.
them demonstrate. And
Oh, that'd be fun.
that's super
everything.
true. Yeah, because we very well could have internet problems next time. We did not plan for all of this madness.
We've also done this before, and like it's been just fine.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know what's up now.
exactly.
This is
It's
exact
been
machine
totally
too.
fine.
Everything.
I feel like next time we're gonna have like backups on backups on backups, like, but okay, well that's a good idea because I do really want to be sure that we cover that, just because I think it's important.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, guys, it is now 9 o'clock. I really appreciate all you guys for sticking with us through all these technical issues. I know that there's been a whole bunch of them. Apparently, the video died again. I can see it over there just dying.
We'll talk about next time.
Yeah, what are our cultures next time? Just,
I forget what our cultures are next time.
Looking at the
I
meeting
would
notes to
say
see
it's
where we
Hesha
decided that.
and Nevian.
Yeah, I made some kind of announcement on Facebook about it, about what our second one was going to be.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
don't have it handy.
I want to say it was Hesha and Nevian.
I found it. Yes, it is Hesha and Nemian.
Because
Okay.
they're
Awesome.
travelers.
So it's
Yes.
the two.
Yes, and
Yes.
then the last one is Saravian and Outlander.
Okay, excellent. All right, cool. So yeah, and I do not think, unless we end up having like a 4-hour fireside chat next time, I do not think that we can cover everything. So we'll do a combat overview series of videos in some form or fashion to make up for this madness.
I mean, folks are saying they want videos on everything, religions, cultures. So.
Well,
They-
now, hang on.
but
I don't want to overcommit.
Oh no.
they will not be edited very much.
That's
we,
right.
we don't expect us to like be very fancy.
But plus, I feel like there is more to visually see with the combat system.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, you know, there's only so many videos you want to see of like the social system jerk off motion. Like,
But it's
you know.
so fun.
Also, though, next time we can actually, if hopefully as people get more and more vaccinated, we can do this live in a place.
Oh, that's true too. Doing it live.
Yeah, where
It is pretty exciting.
I like seeing your faces.
I know.
It makes me really happy.
Yeah, you
Yes.
guys probably don't know this, but this is like the first time that we've gotten together in like forever because we're all vaccinated, and it's like super exciting to us. Which is probably why we've also been like a little slap happy and giddy during this call, is because we're just really excited to see each other in person.
Yeah.
Also, the alcohol.
What?
Well, there's that.
I can't deny it. I'm on a super NZ for my back, so no alcohol.
Alright.
I'll drink your
No,
alcohol.
you're welcome to it. No, you're right. Take it all. Drink for me. Everyone drink for me, yes.
I guess my second glass of wine was yours.
Excellent. Dedicated to me. It's the best thing.
Pour one out for Megan into your mouth.
Are there any last minute emergencies before we...
I motion that hashtag call Gothic slap Gothics. Okay, well, I
It's been
guess.
seconded.
And I guess.
Oh, well, there's nothing to be done about that then. It's seconded.
So, all in favor is the question, right?
So it is.
No
And
objection.
that's how we decide lore.
You know, that's actually a really good point, though. Like, make your own stuff in the world. Like, we've given you the
Yeah.
basis, but we don't want that to be. What's the prescriptive? Like, I mean, it's not. We're not the Merriam-Webster when we were.
Yes. Which is also why we haven't really gone to great lengths to like discuss how things are pronounced. Like we've tried to include some stuff that's Gaelic based just for funsies, but like.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's me.
But I mean, say the stuff how you think is cool. There's regional dialects. There's differences in accents. Like, have fun. Please have fun.
Yeah, we gave you a lot of stuff to base off of, so you guys have a commonality to then make up your stuff about, you know, Hessians calling Gothic slapgoss, whatever. You know, sex goss is what I call it.
Hey.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Skull's new character where they're telling a bunch of, you know, random stories that aren't in packets.
Yeah, and
That'll be
Ayla's
so much fun.
to your points, like I that is totally frustrating, and we want you guys to feel like you've got some creative agency. You know, I mean, that being said, like if someone submits a character and we're like, you know, hey, that actually is like a really weird concept, you know, we're gonna let you know. Like I don't want to imply that staff isn't using like the power of no sometimes, but we do really want to keep at the forefront of our minds that we want players to feel a sense of agency over their stories. You know, that's kind of like the whole rationale behind our death and dying system. You know, behind a lot of the way we designed our skills and rituals and powers is so like while very bad things can happen to your character, you still can feel a sense of agency in how your story ends at the very least.
And sometimes knowing you're a weirdo is okay. Like you're like it's like that's a weird thing. You're like, yeah, I'm a weirdo, and just be expected to go through things like one's like, you're really odd and unusual. Like, yeah, my parents dropped me on the head as a child.
Yeah, and as a staff philosophy, like we've really been trying hard to not necessarily just say no. It's more like, well, that's kind of outside the scope of what we intended for that culture. For example, why don't like would you like to consider this, that, and the other thing? Like, here's some other options you might want to think about.
Alex put it a better way than me. He said players should own if they play a novel concept that's out of the ordinary. Yeah, that's a better way than what I said.
We're all flustered. I super appreciate you, Megan, like opening up all these different ways of communication and all these different troubleshooting methods. And Brendan, thank you for moderating. And people, thank you for staying and participating. I'm full of love and chagrin.
Oh, it failed us this time when it had not failed us before. We cursed.
We're gonna fucking figure it out next time.
I'll get us an actual like video camera.
Yeah, we're gonna be paranoid next time. Oh.
We're gonna have to post an ad on Craigslist. Bring your own videography equipment. Yes.
I agree. But for now, my friends, let us say goodnight.
Indeed.
Good
Good night, guys.
night.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye. It was a pleasure.
Looks like we've got several people watching, and that's great.
We got new people in Discord too, which is good.
That is good.
I'm gonna stop us now.
Hell
Stop
yeah.
recording.